Welcome to the Trip Tales podcast with me, Kelsey Graves. Let's jump into a new episode exploring a vacation destination that you'll want all the details about.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Trip Tales. I'm feeling a little bit better and my voice is back mostly. So today I'm pumped to be diving into Park City, Utah, specifically family ski trips to Park City. This is going to be a solo episode, but I've probably skied with my extended family over a dozen times in Park City, so I feel like I have a lot of info to share. My parents established this tradition when I was younger, and now I love watching my kids learn to love skiing and fall in love with Park City as well. I actually compiled a lot of this information with photos and links and tons of information in a Substack article that I wrote last year. I'm going to link that at the top of the show notes. So if you prefer to look through an article and have all this information in one place, you can access that article as well. Let's start with why we love Park City, Utah as a ski destination for a family. My parents started us skiing in elementary school. We lived in Indiana and we started skiing in Michigan, which was so great. I highly recommend finding a ski location that is close-ish to you, even if it's not the nicest. Even here in Tennessee, there's a great place in Indiana called Perfect North. Of course, it's skiing in Indiana. It's not going to be the same as going out west, but it gets 4.6 stars after 4,000 reviews on Google. A lot of people say it's a great place to learn to put on skis, get on a lift, get down a run, and people really enjoy it when they can't get all the way out west. There are some great places in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, even Gatlinburg has Ober-Gatlinburg that has some skiing. So I'm saying all this to say you don't have to jump into going out west. You can start small and even just do a 2-night trip to somewhere that's drivable for you. After a couple years in Michigan, we tried out Seven Springs Resort in Pennsylvania, which we really loved and had a great family ski trip there. And then we finally attempted our first family ski trip out west, which was to Breckenridge. And this was a really good trip. I have a lot of positive memories from it. We stayed in a little ski vacation rental and drove each day over to the resort to get to the ski hill. One thing that stands out to me, though, from the ski trip is that it was so cold, like beyond cold. I think one of the days the high was in the negatives, but we'd gone all the way out there and spent all this money on this family ski trip, so we skied. I remember my hands and toes being so cold. I literally felt like I had frostbite. And as a kid, when you feel like your parents don't believe you and they're like, stop complaining. I vividly remember being like, my fingers and toes are going to fall off. We had paid for ski school. And so, my sister and I had to truck through it. And I just remember sitting by one of those fires in a lodge style cafeteria area, taking off my socks and my gloves and sitting by the fire for as long as possible until I could move them again. And that is going to play into today's story. I have other episodes about ski trips to Colorado. We'll probably go to Colorado again with our family at some point just to experience it. Vail is so lovely. There's so many amazing ski resorts for families. Just know that it is colder in Colorado because the elevation is higher. And so you often do get some of those colder temps. Then we tried Park City. My family had such a great first experience in Park City, Utah, and my parents loved it so much that they actually went in on one of those timeshare tours and took the bait and bought a timeshare with Westgate, which is still there, by the way. And at the time, it was at this new-ish ski resort called The Canyons. So I grew up going to a ski resort called The Canyons in Park City because we had a timeshare that we had to use. Darn, right? Like, lucky me, I got to go out to Park City almost yearly. Typically, we would go the week after Christmas, crossing over into New Year's, which is one of the most expensive weeks to go. But it was the only time my entire family was always available between different sports schedules, school schedules. us starting to go off to college and then working. This was the one week where everybody had off and everybody could meet back up to ski. And it was such an amazing family tradition. I still thank my parents for establishing such a fun winter tradition because now we love skiing and we are teaching our kids to love skiing. And it is just such a fun tradition that they have established. Some of the reasons we fell in love with Utah and the reason we kept going is that you fly into the Salt Lake City airport, which is really not that far from these ski resorts. I often post reels on my Instagram about how you fly into the Salt Lake City airport and you're at your resort in 30 minutes. And a ton of people love to comment and be like, that's not true. It's so much farther away. It's really not that much farther away. With no traffic, I think it might be 42 minutes. But when you load up your car with all your luggage and you get to your ski resort in 30 to 45 minutes, it is so much nicer than flying into Denver and getting on I-70 for sometimes 3 hours to sit in traffic and try to get to your ski resort. The last few years, my husband had gone out to a work trip at Vail. This was a summer trip. This was not even in ski season. And multiple times on this trip, he would text me and go, oh my gosh, we're in bumper to bumper traffic trying to get back to the Denver airport. He almost just missed his flight once. I know a lot of you love skiing in Colorado, but the idea of flying in and getting stuck in traffic, especially with little kids, and that road going out to the Denver ski resorts is a little bit dicey, especially if the weather's bad. It's twisty and turny and curvy around mountain edges. And I just have memories of it being a little scary, especially when we had little kids. I just couldn't risk that extra long drive after already flying out west, but we may try it again someday. The exception to this is Steamboat, which I have a great episode about a few episodes back, which has its own airport you can fly into and get to Steamboat much easier than some of the other Denver ski resorts. But so anyhow, you fly into the Salt Lake City airport and you're 30 to 45 minutes from the ski resorts. Typically, Park City / the Canyons or Deer Valley are very close. Like I already mentioned, it's a lower altitude than other ski destinations. You still get plenty of snow, but typically the temperature is a bit better, as in a few degrees warmer than you would get out in Colorado. And there's less chance of altitude sickness because altitude sickness is a real thing. I've seen it happen to family members. I've seen it happen to friends. The best way to combat it is to drink a lot of water before you go out there and continue to drink a lot of water while you're on your trip. But it is much more common in Colorado than it is in Utah. Also, Utah has some of the best snow in the United States. There are some other resorts that you can take a day trip to. One is called Alta, Alta. One is called Snowbird. These resorts literally have some of the best snow in the US. It's called the Cottonwood Canyon. We love to take a day trip out there and ski at those resorts because they are so epic. And those are also fun places to stay. They just don't have as much going on at night. Another reason we love Park City is that the city of Park City is so adorable and charming. Downtown Park City, Main Street, has shopping, restaurants, very high-end eateries, if that's your thing. Also, lots of family-friendly spots, pizza, pasta, tacos, Mexican. It's draped with Christmas lights in the winter, and usually there's snow mounds everywhere. And it is just a super magical place to spend your evenings, which is a huge bonus on a ski trip. Okay, so like I told you, I grew up going to a ski resort called the Canyons. Now, a handful of years ago, Epic Resorts, or Vail Resorts, which is part of Epic, bought the Canyons and merged it with Park City Mountain Resort. So if you haven't been out there, Park City Mountain Resort and the Canyons aren't necessarily super close to each other. You have to drive between the two or take a shuttle between the two. They were considered two separate ski resorts for the longest time, but you can cross over with a special lift and access both sides. So back in the day, you could buy like a special lift ticket to be able to cross over and ski both mountains. Now it's all just one big ski resort. A lot of people hate this because they feel like Vail has made it more corporate and more expensive, but the canyon still has a lot of its charm that it had when it was originally built. So my family prefers to stay on this canyons side of Park City Mountain Resort. You can look it up on the website. There's a canyons base and a Park City Mountain base. Park City Mountain, I don't think has as good of snow as the canyons. Growing up, we would find all these amazing areas on the canyon side, which I'll talk about where we love to ski. This is a little bit inappropriate, but my sister, we would try to go ski at Park City Mountain Resort when we were younger, and my sister would call it Park Shitty because it was always icy. The way one of the sides of the mountain faces, it tends to get a lot of wind and ice. And so we don't really like skiing on Park City Mountain Resort side. I'm just going to put that out there. Now, Park City Mountain Resort side does have a cute ice skating rink, which is kind of fun, but I think the Canyons Base Village is prettier, nicer, has better snow. So my recommendation, if you're going out to Park City, is to stay either on the Canyons side or at Deer Valley. Deer Valley is a completely different ski resort. It's higher end. Snowboarders are not allowed, so know that, but it has a lot of lovely groomed trails. It has the Stein Erickson Lodge, which is a place you can stay, like accommodations, but they also have this restaurant, which is so top notch. It is so splurgy and fun. My husband and I did a day date there one day. You can also just go ski a day at Deer Valley, which is really fun because it's so like hoity-toity and fancy. And we had a lunch. I think we had to have a reservation. And I mean, you're in ski boots, but they're bringing you champagne in fluted champagne glasses. You can get oysters and caviar and all the fancy schmancy stuff. And it is just so luxurious and fun. So Stein Erickson Lodge is a great spot if you decide to spend a day at Deer Valley. This is probably a good time to say that ski trips are very expensive trips. I think you guys already all know that, but no matter even if you do one of your little local drivable ski resorts, you have to pay for lodging, you have to pay for lift tickets, you have to pay for ski rentals. The food is typically more expensive at these places. So these trips add up really, really fast. It's going to be easily over $10,000 for a family to ski. So just keep that in mind. It's almost like planning for a Disney trip. You've got a budget, you've got to save, and you've got to be ready to go on one of these trips. My guest on the Keystone, Colorado episode, a few episodes back, made a really good recommendation about spreading out the expenses of one of these trips over a handful of months. So typically you want to buy your lift tickets, which are now these days through Epic Pass or Icon Pass. Do that in August. If you do it before Labor Day, you get a lot of good savings. So kind of make a plan. August, I'm buying the lift tickets. September, I'm doing the ski rental booking. October, I'm booking ski lessons. So each month has one of the big ticket items, but you're not trying to do it all in October or November and just like, whoa. So like I said, Vail/Epic Pass bought the canyons. So now one of the first things we do is get Epic Passes early in the year. You can select your days. You can say, I want to ski 4 days while I'm out there, 3 days while I'm out there. So you select your pass for 3 days. Make sure you get the one with no blackout dates because a lot of the popular times that a lot of us on this podcast like to ski are blackout dates because they are school breaks and holiday breaks when we can all get away. So make sure you get the pass without blackout dates. And then let's talk about where we like to stay. So for so many years, I told you we stayed at Westgate Resort. That is still there. A lot of the units are on vacation rental websites like VRBO, Airbnb. Hey, Trip Tales listeners, I'll keep this short. If you're loving the podcast, leaving a review or buying me a coffee is the quickest way to show your support, and it will ensure that these amazing trip stories keep coming. Leave a review wherever you are listening to this podcast, or buy me a coffee at the link in the show notes, and I'll literally do a happy dance when it comes through. Okay, back to the show. Vacasa and Park City rental properties. I'll list all of these rental websites in the show notes, but Westgate is lovely and very close to the main lifts. The Grand Summit is another hotel that is within steps of the main gondola. And then Hyatt-centric Park City is also right there in the Canyons Base Village. You can look up all the hotels in the Canyons Base Village. And in addition, there are tons of smaller little condos, individual units, townhomes. There's tons of them. So, my recommendation on where to stay and how to start is to get on a VRBO or a Vacasa or Park City rental properties and just kind of play around within your budget and find something. You don't have to be ski in, ski out. There are tons of shuttles, there's lots of parking, there's lots of ways and little lifts to get from point A to point B. Just find somewhere that you want to stay on one of those vacation rental websites on the canyons side of Park City Mountain. Now, of course, as you go farther out, things are going to get cheaper. So you could stay in and around the downtown Park City area. There's going to be plenty of places. Just kind of play around with your budget and you will find something that works. One of the things we love about Westgate is that they have a lovely skier services perk, which brings your skis out right next to the gondola. So you get ready for your day, you put on your ski boots, and you walk all the way to the gondola. It's called the Red Pine Gondola that you need to get on to go up the mountain, and your skis are right there with someone from Westgate. So that is a huge perk for Westgate. Their skier services is amazing. They also have this locker area where you can store your boots overnight. You can dry your boots on these dryers. So you can go down to skier services in the morning in your comfy snow boots, change, put your snow boots in a locker, and then walk right out to meet your skis at the gondola. So yay for Westgate. My parents have since sold this timeshare I was talking about. Sad day, but we kind of grew out of it because our family got bigger and we had kids and my sister had kids. And so we couldn't really all stay in it anyways. So they sold that. And now we just pick a vacation rental each time we go out there. But this holiday season, we are actually staying at Westgate again, which will be fun because we have so many memories from that hotel. It also has a lovely heated pool, kind of an indoor-outdoor heated pool and hot tubs. So that property is amazing. We've also stayed at the Hyatt Centric, which is lovely. You could transfer Hyatt points to this property. This has a nice ski in, ski out option on, I think it's level 2 of the hotel, but it is a bit of a blue to get into their ski in, ski out area. So just know that we have a lot of kids when we travel, and none of our kids at the time felt comfortable doing it. So if you're strong skiers, Hyatt Centric has a great ski in, ski out skier services as well. And then the Grand Summit is the closest to the gondola. It has a lovely outdoor restaurant with heaters. And a few steps down, you are right at the main gondola. So the Grand Summit is another lovely place to stay. I should have mentioned earlier that we always have rental cars on these trips. I think it's necessary on a ski trip. If you want to go anywhere else outside of the ski resort, if you need to go get groceries, if you want to go out to dinner, you need a SUV or a minivan. We often rent a minivan because they have those huge trunks that you can throw all the skis in if you're going somewhere else. It is nice to try to get a 4-wheel drive vehicle while you're out there, but definitely plan on renting a car. I always find that Costco has the cheapest car rental rates, but recently a lot of people on this podcast have been loving Turo. We've used it before as well. That's the app where you're just renting directly from a car owner, and so you know exactly what you're getting. You got all the reviews in there. People have had great experiences with it. Still meaning to reach out to Turo because we talk about them so much that they should sponsor the podcast, but definitely plan on renting a car on this trip. Okay, so you land, you get your rental car, you drive over to the canyons, hopefully, if you want to take a similar trip to us. I always do an Instacart order now. We used to go grocery shopping, but Instacart is so easy, and there's plenty of locals living in Park City that would love to pick up your groceries for you. So my little travel hack is I preload my Instacart app with what I want. When I have time, when I'm at home, before we're in our travel mode, you can put the delivery address in. So Westgate, Park City. Your app will say, it seems like you're pretty far from this destination. Are you sure you want to shop this location? Yes. And then you can see the grocery stores that are close and that will deliver to Westgate in the canyons. And you can auto load it. You can put all your pastas, pasta sauces, wine, all the things that you want for your ski trip. Microwave popcorn, chips and salsa, chips and queso. I'm thinking about the things that we always love. after a good long ski day. Maybe a couple frozen pizzas, just stuff to stock your pantry and fridge and freezer with. And so then once we're headed towards Westgate, I will hit start shopping on my app. It's already preloaded. I do it on my computer, but my computer and my Instacart is connected, my account through my computer and my app. So once I get there, it's ready to go. I love this hack. I've already done it for this upcoming weekend. I'm going to Orlando for a dance competition with my daughter. We like to have snacky things in the room and breakfast items. My Instacart is already loaded for when I land in Orlando. I can press start shopping. And then my groceries arrive, within an hour of arriving to my destination. So we arrive. Now we need our skis. For this particular trip, if you're staying at the canyons in Park City, we like to rent from Aloha. There are tons of Aloha locations, but there is one right at the canyons. It is so easy. You can walk from wherever you're staying and show up at Aloha. They have great customer service. They have all the things you need. You get on Aloha before your trip, well before your trip, probably months before your trip, and you put in everybody's height and weight and preference. I'll still say my kids are beginners, but we will say we're intermediates. We actually rent nicer skis now because after years and years of skiing, sometimes the lowest end of the rental shops are pretty beat up. The boots are a little bit cheaper. So my husband and I now rent more of the level up or professional level gear because the boots are more comfortable. The skis are nicer. It makes for a more enjoyable week. And my goal these days is not to get injured out there. So we opt for the nicer stuff, but put everything in. We highly recommend Aloha ski rentals. One year we actually did get a great deal from Utah Ski and Golf. Utah Ski and Golf is in downtown Park City. They had emailed out a promo code in the fall. So getting on all of these email lists, and as you go on more ski trips, you will be on a lot of these email lists. They had emailed out like a 40% off promo code one fall, and we booked everything and saved $700. Now, once we got settled at the canyons, we did have to load everybody back in the minivan, drive to downtown Park City, and then load all of our gear in the trunk and drive it back. But for $700 savings, that was worth it. So Utah Ski and Golf is another great spot to look into in downtown Park City. We rent everything, boots, skis, poles. Just a note, if you have little kids who have never skied before, they don't need poles. They won't put them with poles until they are almost more of an adult size. It's just something extra for them to mess with and drop off a ski lift. So most young skiers do not use poles. They will all now almost require helmets, 100% use a helmet. There's no reason to risk, getting off balance and running into a tree or another skier or snowboarder. Some of the snowboarders are a little wild. And so definitely everybody get a helmet and you'll get all taken care of quickly at any of these. Well, I shouldn't say quickly. There definitely are times on peak holiday weekends where these ski rental places can get a little wild and gnarly. So pack your patience, go first thing in the morning if you can, or as early as possible. Don't wait until the afternoon, evening that these places just get jammed. But it always takes a while. Your kids are going to be trying to jam their feet into these ski boots, which are not the most comfortable thing to get used to. It takes a while. Everybody will probably be sweating. So pack your patience, but go as early in the day as possible. Okay, let's talk about ski school. We love the Park City Mountain Resort Ski School. Of course, when you go to the website to sign up, you can choose which base you are staying at. So we always stay at the canyons. So we choose the Canyon Side Ski School. It is expensive, but it's so worth it. We always plan on 1 or 2 days of ski school. We try to do full days just to get them, once you're already dressed and out there, you might as well pay for the whole day. Ski school, I kind of think of it as an investment. It gives your kids a base of confidence that will help them the rest of the week and the rest of their lives. There is ski school for adults. So if you've never skied before, plan on doing a group lesson with some adults. You'll meet some fun people. You'll get some great tips from an instructor. It'll be a fun day. Ski school at Park City Mountain Resort goes from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and it includes lunch. There is a half-day option for 3 and 4-year-olds, which is so cute. And my little niece is going to be in that this year, and I can't wait to watch her on skis. when you go to register, it asks your age and your ability level, and it will group you or your kids or whoever exactly where they need to be. I'm just going to rip off the Band-Aid and tell you that one day of group ski lessons is about almost $400. I think it's like $397. It's so expensive. Now that includes rental and lift ticket. So know that when you are looking at these websites, a lot of times ski school includes the ski rental and the lift ticket to get you up the mountain. So if you have an Epic Pass, because that's how you do it and that's how we do it, and you have ski rentals because your kids are going to be skiing other times without you, and you don't want to like have them have this, ski school stuff one day, and then you've got to go to Aloha the next day to get ski stuff when they ski with you. We like to just they have their rental stuff the entire week, and we all have lift tickets for the entire week. That's all taken care of. You can subtract those things off of ski school and make it a little cheaper. Now, it's not cheap, but you can say, I don't need a lift ticket and I don't need rentals. And now it might go down to something like $329. So it's very, very, very expensive, but think of it as an investment and make sure that you uncheck those items if you already have rentals and a lift ticket. Also book that ski school well in advance, months in advance. It usually opens up around October, because before that time, a lot of these ski resort websites are still in summer mode and they're giving out all their summer information for people to book those sorts of experiences. And so around October, it starts switching over to where you can actually book winter stuff. And we always kind of lay out our week. We look at it and we'll go, okay, first day we get there will be a ski school day. Well, the first day we get there is like groceries, ski rentals, get our bearings, all that. And then the next day is typically ski school to get everybody started on a good foot. And then usually we do maybe a ski with the family day and then an off day and then another day of ski school. You can kind of lay it out. But that way, if you lay out your week, you can pick your ski school days in advance. Okay, this is a super fun little tip. Utah has this super fun program where fourth, fifth, and sixth graders can ski free. Now, don't get too excited because the most popular weeks, like the week after Christmas or President's Day, are blackout dates. But I will link the website in the show notes. There are all these different resorts. Some of the resorts even don't have blackout dates, some of the smaller resorts. So it's worth looking into if you have fourth, fifth, and sixth graders to get them some free ski passes and they get discounted lessons. You have to apply in advance, but again, I will put the instructions. It's through Ski Utah, so you can Google it as well. But it's a seriously awesome offer to look into, especially if you have flexibility to travel at different times throughout the winter. Okay, let's quickly talk about the Canyons Ski Mountain. We love it so much. You'll learn it as you go out there. There's a really cute area that's all for beginners. You almost don't even need to get on this one lift unless you are doing greens and ski school. So there'll be one area at the top that's all for ski school and beginners. And then what we like to do is start going left. You just kind of keep going left and get to the Dreamscape area. Dreamscape is so magical. I'll post about it again on my Instagram this year. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's just my name, Kelsey_Graves. And I share a lot of our trips and travel tips over there. But Dreamscape is these long, winding paths that go under bridges and over bridges and around a pond and around the most beautiful ski homes you've ever seen in your life. This is like a neighborhood that was built out there, but they're all very far apart. It's not like a close together neighborhood. Absolutely gorgeous ski homes that you are like kind of skiing by slowly to try to peek in the windows and see who's staying there. And you'll see people's skis leaned up against the houses and the hot tubs going and the fireplaces inside. And you're just like, oh my gosh, maybe one day we'll stay in one of these ski homes. But they are fun to look at. They're gorgeous. And then the runs are just long and windy and you're just kind of going forever in this beautiful snow. I'm a controlled cruiser. I used to try all the hard stuff. I don't want to get injured. I'm approaching 42. At this point, Dreamscape is literally my dream. You are just cruising through gorgeous snowy runs, gorgeous ski homes. It just is magical. So Dreamscape is my favorite area. Try to get over there. There's a lot of great blues and double blues at Park City. big, long, wide ones that will get your leg muscles burning and twitching. And that is another fun part of skiing is the exercise you get throughout the day. So if you guys have gone through kind of those beginner ski trips, the canyons is a great place to get on a ton of good blues. And then there is the challenging area, which is called 9990. That is for the elevation. It is 99,990 feet above sea level. That is a lift that you do not want to get on unless you want to do a black or a double black on the way down. I've done it plenty of times. Yes, you can make it down, but it is hard. It is moguls. It's a lot of deep powder. My husband typically tries to go up there at least once every ski trip. And now that the kids are getting older, I'm sure they will start wanting to go up there. But you do not go up there unless you want a challenge on the way down. We've had people lose skis, tumble through the powder. So it is challenging. But if you are a very advanced skier, know that you will also have some super fun terrain. There's other blacks, other places, but 9990 is kind of where it's at if you want a big challenge at the canyons. Again, like I said, you can ski across and go all the way over to Park City Mountain Resort, which is kind of fun because you can ski down to Main Street. This would be something fun to do, like if you're not with a bunch of kids, but maybe just a couple or some friends. You can ski all the way down to Main Street, take your skis off and go to lunch. It's so cool. Or if you are staying in Main Street in that area, you can get on the Main Street lift and start your ski day, which is kind of cool and unique. Another thing I want to mention about on the mountain at the canyon side of Park City is that the food is really good. A lot of the other ski resort episodes I've done, there are people talk about how the eateries are just fine. You know, it's a cafeteria and there is plenty of that, but the food is good at the canyon. So whether you're at one of the main lodges, Red Pine Lodge is a big main one at the base, you're going to get your typical burgers, chili, but it's good food. I always really enjoy it. However, there are some gems in the canyons on the mountain that you can't miss. Cloud Dine is one of the eateries over near the Dreamscape area. This is at the top of the Dreamscape and the Dreamcatcher lifts, our favorite area. So it's fun to get over there, have a good morning of skiing, and then eat at Cloud Dine. They have donuts in the morning, flatbreads in the afternoon, burgers, salads. They have a nice high-end menu. They have really nice salads. It's still kind of like your walk in, go order at the counter and bring it to your spot, but this is not your typical cafeteria at a ski resort. So Cloud Dine is a fun place to hit up. But my absolute favorite place for a stop during a ski day, especially when the kids are in ski school, is called Lookout Cabin. You could almost ski at the canyons and completely miss this place. So listen up. This is halfway off. You know how some lifts you can get off halfway or keep going? At the canyons, there's a newer lift called the Orange Bubble. It literally has orange bubbles that pull down to keep you warm. It's supposed to keep you warmer because they heat up in the sun and the lift is supposed to stay warmer. The orange bubble has a halfway point and then an all the way point. Of course, normally you'd want to go all the way up because you want to get as far as possible before you're skiing back down. But if you get off at the halfway point and just kind of ski around a corner, there's Lookout Cabin. Lookout Cabin is a full service restaurant offering like elevated dining. Their signature dish is the Rocky Mountain Fondue. I'm obsessed with this dish. This warm white fondue cheese comes out with all these different things to dip in it, like bread and green apples and mushrooms and roasted potatoes. It is the best dish. You can get a glass of wine in a real wine glass. It has a full bar. I've sat at the bar before by myself if I've had to like drop a kid or, you know, when we had littles, we'd have to go back and help with them if they were napping. And then I'm trying to meet back up with people. And I'm like, I think I'm going to stop at Lookout Cabin before I meet back up with the group. It's fun to go with your significant other, with a group of adults. I wouldn't bring kids there. It's just too fancy. It's expensive and fancy and not worth bringing kids into. It's a little bit smaller. You can make a reservation, which is super fun. But often my husband and I will just sit at the bar, or my sister and I, and order the fondue, a glass of wine. They're also known for their bison bolognese pasta. Like what? This place is such a dream. So Lookout Cabin's where it's at. I'll post a picture from there this ski trip because It's like my main priority is to get to Lookout Cabin and ski through Dreamscape. And if I do those two things, I am like a very happy camper. Like I said, we typically plan for 1 or 2 off days to rest our legs and enjoy the other things there is to do around the Park City area. So here are some things we do when we're not skiing. We love to do some snow tubing because that's a hit with all the kids, obviously. The best snow tubing hill is at Woodward. You can get on the Woodward website and they have all different ticket prices. During the expensive holiday weeks, it's more expensive. I think it's about $50 a person on a regular winter day. And then, the week between Christmas and New Year's, when we go, it's like $89. So it is very expensive. You get a 2-hour tubing slot. Tickets do sell out. We have been out there during different trips where we go tubing and all the time slots are booked up. So we have already booked our tubing time slot for this trip that we're going to this holiday season. You could just buy the tickets for your kids, sit back and watch. We got tickets for ourselves to go ahead and have some fun. And I don't know, it's a massive tubing hill. So might as well have some fun if you're all the way over there. If the idea of paying $50 to $89 for tubing gives you the chills, consider simply sledding in the Canyons Village. It's kind of funny because there's this area where it's a clearly good sledding area, and all these kids sled on it all day long, and there are signs that say no sledding. So I don't know, do with that what you want. I think they don't want it to be too rambunctious, and there are skiers trying to get from point A to point B skiing through that area. But this is like at the base of the canyons, like all the way down at the base village, not at the base of the skiing. There's a really fancy schmancy hotel called the Pendry, very high end and modern. It's right next to the Pendry Hotel is where this area is. We have gotten just cheapy plastic sleds from, a grocery store or a convenience store while we're there and let the kids sled there as well. So that's an option that you might see happening as well. One of our favorite memories was dog sledding in the Park City area. There's a handful of companies that do this, but we used a company called All Season Adventures. They're still running dog sledding tours today. The kids have to be 3 years or older. It is such a thrill. So you show up and there are these gorgeous huskies barking and they're just ready to run. They're ready to go. And they let you pet some of the more friendly dogs and have some time with them and get to know them. And then you get in the sleds. I believe it was 2 or 3 to a sled. I can't exactly remember. And you go on a wild ride through these curves and trees. And these dogs are amazing, so strong, so driven. The kids absolutely love that. I remember absolutely loving that. So if you're a dog lover and a thrill lover, definitely look into All Season Adventures dog sledding tours in Park City. I mentioned this earlier, but there's an ice skating rink over at the Park City mountainside. My son loves to ice skate. It's so cute. I should probably try to get him into hockey, but we might try to make our way over there and just do like an hour of ice skating for whoever's up for it. They have all those little pusher helper things for the kids and rentals and all the stuff. So there is an ice skating rink at Park City Mountain Resort. My favorite thing, though, this was such a fun memory, is a magical experience called the Snowed In Sleigh Company. Inn is spelled INN, like you're going to an inn. The Snowed In Sleigh Company. This is a magical sleigh ride, horse-drawn sleigh ride that brings you up one of the ski runs at night. When we did it, it was snowing magically. You show up, the pickup spot is at Park City Mountain Resort again. So you're going to get in your minivan or your SUV and drive over to the Park City Mountain Resort base side. And a horse-drawn carriage comes with blankets, and it is a little smelly because the horses, have to relieve themselves sometimes during this experience. But you get in this sleigh, you cover up with the blankets, and they pull you up a lit ski hill. It was snowing when we did it, just so magical. And you're on the sleigh ride for probably about 25 minutes, maybe. So you take the horse-drawn sleigh ride up the mountain to the Snowed In cabin. It's a cabin-like restaurant. Christmas lights are strung up on the ceiling. Live music is playing. It truly feels like you're snowed in a Hallmark movie. There is a chef there preparing all this delicious food and a kitchen staff. There are fireplaces going, and you're seated at these big, long tables. So it's really good for large groups. So we were seated at our big, long table. They come around and offer you soup, salad, and breadsticks. And then you get a dinner choice. The night we went, there was a beef, chicken, or a fish option. All the food was lovely. The chef comes out and explains what's in all the dishes, and you do get dessert as well. And so when it's your table's turn, you go up and you get soup out of the big, huge soup pots. You get your breadstick and your salads, and then they'll give you your entree that you ordered. And the servers come around. You can order adult beverages. You can order regular drinks. It is just a cozy, fun experience. And the whole time you're chit-chatting with your family, and there is live music, and I just absolutely love this. Now, my sister has a different memory of this because she had littles at the time, and it's cold. The sleigh ride up is cold. Like, wear gloves, hat, maybe even snow gear. And so her littles weren't loving it, and she was just like tending to unhappy children the entire time. So I would say do this with kids that are like 5 and up, like that school age and up is super fun. We're not planning on doing it this trip, but I just loved it so much. I need to post another Instagram reel about it because it is just so special. And then lastly, shopping in downtown Park City is such a fun way to spend a day, an off day. There's all the great t-shirt shops and sweatshirt shops and ornaments and art galleries. It's just super fun to walk the entire strip to the top and then back down to the bottom on each side and shop around and pop in for maybe an appetizer somewhere. But we love to spend some time shopping in downtown Park City. Okay, let's talk about where we eat. Like I said, we usually grocery and Instacart and have a night or two in. It's just easy after a long day. Pizza and salad or a pasta meal is usually on the menu. One of the places we love to eat as a family with a bunch of kids in a large group is called Main Street Pizza and Noodle. This is a family dinner staple for us. We've been going for years. It has huge tables for big groups. It's definitely loud. No one will hear your fussy kiddos. They don't take reservations, but they have tons of yummy pizza, pasta, and salads. We usually go super early here. So if we're doing a downtown Park City shopping day, we will eat here at like 4:45 because later in the evening, it is just always on a super long wait because it's so family friendly. So plan on going here early. But this is just a way to feed a bunch of people, and it's just kind of a Park City staple. Main Street Pizza and Noodle. There's tons of amazing restaurants. You can look up the top restaurants. There's award-winning amazing restaurants, but we're typically eating with a big family, so our Main Street dinner is usually pretty casual. The Canyon's base village is also really cute. Not even cute. It's nice. It's gorgeous. So this is before you're even near any of the skiing. You have to take a gondola all the way up to get near the skiing, but the base village is kind of built around a big snowy area that often will have a stage with some live music. When we're out there over the Christmas holiday, they have a big New Year's Eve party where they play live music and shoot off fireworks. It's really nice because they do the fireworks at like 9 because, skiers need to get to sleep so they can get up and ski the next day. There's kind of a open air bar in this area. And then surrounding it is kind of a circular area of just tons of shops, restaurants, the ski school area. It's just a very pretty base village. So even just exploring that base village can be fun. There's a place called Giraffe's Burger Bar that we really like because you can get delicious burgers and also milkshakes as big as your head. I'm not exaggerating. They're those milkshakes that are filled with a million things like candy bars and gummy bears. And it's definitely a sugar overload, but it is fun for the kids. And then for a splurgy option, we did this one year and it was super fun. We're not going to do it again this year because I think it's just like a special occasion splurgy thing. But there is a cool company called Low Spark Fondue that comes to your ski house and prepares a beautiful fondue dinner for you. This is expensive, but they catered in a fondue dinner for our large group, and it was so fun. So they used our kitchen and our ski rental to prep everything. We had 3 courses, cheese fondue with all of the fancy fixings. I mean, more than you could ever imagine. Beef tenderloin with shaved Brussels sprouts that was so, so good. And then, of course, a chocolate fondue course with homemade graham crackers and homemade cookies and cakes and strawberries. And we had the absolute best time. Again, it's pricey. I will put the link in the show notes. But if you are feeling like one special occasion evening, this was so highly recommended and so high-end feeling. Okay, I will end this with our favorite ski gear quickly. We like to get nice ski bibs and coats from places like Columbia, LL Bean, and Land's End. These websites are not as expensive as some of the higher end ski gear like North Face and all the cool brands. Of course, buy whatever you want, but Columbia seems to pull through really good for us. It's still kind of a cool brand for the kids, and they have a lot of great options that are waterproof, which is important. You do want waterproof gear because you don't want your ski pants to be like wet by the end of the day. I'm currently obsessed with these under helmet head warmers. These are the things that cover you completely. But they keep you so warm. And at this point in my life, I just want to be comfortable. So I will link that in the show notes as well. It is a full on ski face mask, but the one I like has a very easy to pull down or pull up nose and mouth cover. So you can pull it down and talk to someone or answer your phone. But then when you're frozen, you can pull it up and all you can see is your eyes. And I'm obsessed. I want to be comfortable. There is a brand that they sell everywhere out there that's also on Amazon. It's called Blackstrap. I will link it again in the show notes. I have a light gray one. I think it looks really cute under my gray ski helmet, and they've got white ones and all the different colors. So I think I'm going to get those for my kids this year too, because it just keeps you so warm and comfortable. Of course, we always have hand warmers. Sometimes I buy those on Amazon in advance and just bring them out in our luggage. You can also buy them out there. Okay, I have to share my favorite ski glove. It's by Hestra, Hestra. I've gone through tons of ski gloves in the past. The reason I love this brand is that they make ski gloves for like the workers. The one that I like is called the Patrol because it's like ski patrol. People are using these all day. And I'm like, yes, if it's good enough for the ski patrol, it's good enough for me. I like the mittens because your fingers stay super warm being all together. The ones I have go almost halfway up my arm. They're leather. So there's no wind getting through there, but on the inside, they are soft and comfortable. They also have this really nice wrist strap. So you put the wrist strap on first, and then you put your hand in these Hestra mittens. And then when you're on the lift and you need to check your phone or open up a ski map, you literally take them off and they hang on these wrist straps. So you don't have to like keep your glove under your leg and try to not let it fall off a ski lift. And then you pop them back on, and I'm telling you, they are the best. They're expensive, but once you've got them, you've got them. So I will link the Hestra gloves that I love in the show notes as well, because if you are a wimp like me and you want to stay warm, you'll want those. Definitely pack swimsuits because most rentals will have access to a hot tub or a heated pool. There is nothing like sitting in a hot tub after a long day of skiing in a swimsuit. I usually will wear a snow hat still to keep my ears nice and warm, have a glass of wine while the snow is falling and you're looking up at the ski hill. It is such a fun way to end a ski day. So definitely pack a swimsuit. We sometimes like to throw in some easy to pack robes so that you can just throw that on for the kids. A lot of the hotels will have robes you can use in the rooms, but for the kids, we'll pack in a little light kind of terry cloth robe for them to hop in and out of, and maybe even some slippers that we get them on Amazon that have more of a shoe sole on the bottom, but they can slip in and out and run in and out of the hot tubs that way. Okay, I know this episode was just full of a ton of information, but I hope this was helpful for anybody that might be considering planning a ski trip to Park City, Utah. Feel free, you can always DM me with questions. I'll end this episode the way I end all my episodes, which is if someone out there is considering this trip, what is it about skiing on the canyons side of Park City Mountain Resort that would make you say, just book it? These ski trips are my favorite memories of my life growing up and now with my family. There is nothing like settling into a ski cottage having the fire going, having your family all there in comfortable, cozy clothes and socks, playing games, getting to bed early because you're going to be up ready to hit the slopes, watching your kids learn an amazing life skill, snow skiing through an amazing ski school, getting some time on the mountain with my husband to ski around and stop at some of these amazing eateries on the mountain, which you don't get at every ski resort, exercising all day in this crisp mountain air, skiing as a family once your kids get done with ski school and letting them show you their favorite runs and seeing their confidence shine as these upcoming skiers, heading back to the cottage and hopping in a hot tub and just relaxing your muscles, cooking in a yummy dinner or going out to eat in downtown Park City. There is truly nothing like the good vibes of a ski trip. I love it so much. I hope that I have inspired you to try this trip. Save your pennies. It will be worth it. It is such a memorable family experience. And once the bug bites you, you will want to repeat this trip over and over again as many times as you can because it is just such a lovely time with your family. All right, that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have so many fun episodes coming up. Now that we did our beaches trip fails about beaches, Turks, and Caicos, I got so many DMs with people who are like, wait, no, I listened to the episode and I had a completely different experience. I love this trip. So we're going to have a rebuttal episode where two people come on and share about why they love it so that we can just hear both sides of the story. I don't want there to always be one side of the story. So feel free to continue to email me your trip tales that you've loved, your trip fails that you haven't loved. All of these emails can come to me at triptalespodcast@gmail.com. And we will get you on the schedule because we're having so much fun having all of these different conversations. So thanks for listening in again and for being here. And I'll see you on the next one.
That wraps up another episode of Trip Tales. If you have a trip you'd like to share about on the podcast, email me at triptalespodcast@gmail.com and I'll add you to the schedule. Also, be sure to follow the show so that you don't miss any upcoming vacation destinations. And if you have an extra minute in your day, please leave a review for the podcast. It helps more than you could imagine. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode of Trip Tales.